Yeah, I like your style.
Two? 7? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Everybody's welcome. Come on aboard, find a seat for us, get comfortable.
Yep.
We have an exciting adventure ahead of us here on the Harambe Wildlife Preserve. Welcome aboard. You can store your bags or hats or loose children or anything you don't want to lose either on the seat next to you or on the feet by your floor. On the right, watch your hands, your arms, your feet, your legs. Those doors are going to slide shut. Just like that. Get nice and comfortable. We got about a 25-minute safari here ahead of us on the reserve. Everyone's having a good day so far? It's beautiful weather out. I'm glad you guys brought that with you here today. Last couple days it's been getting kind of gloomy and whatnot, so I'm glad there's some nice sun, clouds and everything. Thank you, sir. Sante's on a warden. And as we say here on the reserve, Twin Day, and Twin Day means let's go. So Jumbo friends, welcome aboard the Simba 1. My name, you guessed it, it's Nathan. I'm going to be your safari guide, your tour expert, your animal spotter. And if anything goes wrong, I'll also be your swimming instructor here today on the Harambe Wildlife Preserve. As we're getting ready to enter, I got to go over a couple quick safety reminders to everybody. Number 1, I need everyone to remain seated, keeping your hands, your arms, your feet, your legs inside the truck at all times. Some of the bushes have lots of thorns and prickers on them. We don't need anyone impaled again today. Number 2, we also need everyone to keep their face covers on up over their nose and under their chin the whole time we're out here. Do we have any first-time safari riders with us today? Excellent. I see those hands in the back. I'm glad it's not just me and there's some in the back as well. That'll help make things a little bit more interesting. But we're going to have a good time, I think, here. We're going to start in the Little Aturi Forest. Now, as the word forest suggests, there are lots of trees, bushes, and shrubs here that animals can come and kind of hide behind. So I'll need everyone's help looking around, trying to spot all these animals. On the right, we see an okapi walking around. Up on the left, there's also a greater kudu. Greater kudu are going to be first. They're way up here on the left side. They're the second tallest antelopes on the reserve, about 55 inches tall measured from their shoulders. People often think that that okapi is actually related to zebras because of those fancy zebra pants it has on, but they're not related to zebras at all. Their closest living relative is actually a giraffe. And then here on the left, we've also found the bongo. These are known as the ghosts of the forest. Very shy. You can see here on the corner how they blend in with the trees and everything, where that nickname ghost comes from. They're going to be found licking the trees quite a bit. Their diets are actually really high in salt. And the best place to get salt in the forest is the natural tree salt found on all the trees. Now, sometimes out here we'll also find animals like the black rhinos. But sightings of black rhinos are becoming increasingly rare in the world. There's only about 5,000 of them left in the wild. They're being poached for their horns, which some African cultures believe to have a healing power in them. That's actually not true at all. Those horns are only made out of a protein that's called keratin. And keratin is the same protein that you can actually find in your fingernails and hair. We'll have to keep our eyes out for him. Sometimes I'll spot them up here on the left. Yeah, he's up here taking a nap right now. Look against the wall, way up here in the corner. You can see that black rhino right up there. They're the smaller of the species of rhinos on the reserve. Only about 3,000 pounds each. Right there. We're also going to find here on the left the saddle-billed stork sitting down. We can tell if it's a male or female by looking at their eyes. So we look here closely. The eyes are right there at the base of its beak or bill. You can see those are black eyes, so that's actually going to be a male. The females will actually have yellow eyes. But now we're going to move up towards the Safi River. Some of the animals here on the Safi River, though, are nocturnal, so we might only find them asleep here during the daytime hours. Or we might not even see them at all. We're going to try our best to spot them. They're very, very large. They weigh about 5,500 pounds each. Can hold their breath for about 8 minutes at a time underwater. There's one on the right. And some would say they are hungry. If you look over there above the water there, climbing up that little ramp, you'll see that Nile hippopotamus way in the back right there. I'm gonna see if we can find any more hippos. That one was kind of way back there. Not sure if we will. Like I said, they're pretty hard to spot here during the daytime hours. On the left here, we're gonna find the pinkback pelicans. Pinkback pelicans are the second smallest species of pelicans in the world, but they do have impressive wingspans, about 7.5 to 9 feet wide. Still don't see any hippos here on the left, so we'll have to keep moving. There's actually a hippo right there on the left walking up out of the water. Pretty cool to see them actually out of the water. Gets you a good idea how big those animals actually are. Speaking of big animals, look here on the left. These are the Nile Crocodiles. They're going to be about 16 to 20 feet long. There's one right here in the water swimming actually. Crocodiles have some of the strongest bites of any animal here on the reserve, with a crocodile bite coming in at 2,000 pounds per square inch. And they can also hold their breath for 2 hours at a time. If you wanted to find another crocodile today, make sure you head over to Dino Land USA. They'll have the American crocodiles over there that you can go over and take a look at. Now we're going to make our way to the Serengeti Grasslands. At this point, I'll point out above your heads there is an animal spotting guide. If you haven't seen that yet, there are about 37 different species of animals that call the Harambe Wildlife Reserve home. And that guide up there just gives you a picture representation. In case you missed an animal and don't know what it looks like, you'll be able to find it up there. And then try to spot it out in the reserve. Here we go down into the reserve now. Let's see what we can find. Keep your eyes out. There's lots of bushes, there's lots of hills and trees. Animals can come hang out by. Like this giraffe on the right. Kind of hiding behind this tree. That's a Maasai giraffe. They're going to stand about 16 to 20 feet tall. A group of giraffes is known as a tower. We're going to see actually a migration here of wildebeest. You'll see them over here on the right, heading from left to right. Also all the way over in the corner here by these other giraffes, heading from left to right. Wildebeest are a migratory species by nature. They're going to travel around, look for fresh food, look for fresh water, sometimes even traveling for hundreds of miles at a time. There's more giraffes coming out of the hills over there. We'll get around there in just a second to get a better view of them. Actually looks like a couple of the younger giraffes are out here today. In the last 5 months, we've actually had 2 giraffes born here on the reserve. Ooh, look on the left back there by that tree. Those are the African wild dogs, or the African painted dogs. They are one of the most successful hunters on the savannah About a 90 to 95% success rate on their hunts. We also are going to find the zebras up here ahead of us on the left, the Hartman mountain zebras. The Hartman mountain zebras are one of the larger species of zebras in the world, weighing about 750 to 1,000 pounds each. They'll be here on the left. There's also this sable antelope in the back there, a darker brown antelope with the big horns. Their horns will grow to be about 4 feet long. Oh, there's one of those young giraffes pretty close to the road here in the front, straight ahead of us. The wildebeest are kind of running over there now. Looks like we might get a bit of a parade over here. Wildebeest and giraffes might cause a bit of a giraffic jam. Here are the rest of these giraffes over here in the hills. We're going to stop here for a quick second, as these are two of the younger ones. I'm trying to see where's a good spot. Probably right up here by this one that's in the middle. Giraffes will remain active most of the day, usually only sleeping for about 30 minutes in the day. It's not usually 30 minutes all at once either. They're going to break it up into a series of naps that'll last about 1 to 5 minutes in length. More giraffes here on the left. Now these herds of wildebeest that we see, they can be small like this in the 20s to 30s, but they could also be extremely large. The largest herd ever recorded comes in at just about 1.5 million wildebeest. We also are going to find the Ankole cattle. They'll be way up on the right, on the top of the hill. Ankole cattle are used as a currency in Africa to show how much money you have. Their big horns will grow to be about 4 to 6 feet long. Excellent. These guys are on the move somewhere, I'm not sure where. Maybe to go up and see those Ankole cattle. We'll probably get another view of those Ankole cattle once we get around to the watering holes in the backside there. A little bit closer. Now we'll keep moving. We're gonna head up here towards this forest again here on straight ahead of us. But it looks like there's actually some tree damage done over here on the right side. So we'll have to go investigate and see if we can find any large animals that might have done this damage to these trees. I have my suspicions on who it might have been. And yes, just as I expected, that's an African elephant here on the right. Now, male African elephants are actually the largest land animals on the planet. They're going to weigh in about 15,000 pounds each. I also saw some mandrills up here on the left. Check out over here. I think they're in the back by these bushes. Up here in the corner. See them kind of walking around in the back there? Mandrills are the largest species of monkeys in Africa. They're known for those bright colored faces they have and those 3-inch tails. Now these forests are very beautiful and home to animals like the elephants and the mandrills. However, these forests right now are actually becoming endangered. They're being mined for a mineral that's called coltan. coltan's found in a lot of electronic devices like cell phones, laptops, computers, tablets, a lot of those smaller household electronic items. So one way to help these animals and their environment is by just recycling your used electronics. When you're done with them, take them to a local electronic or department store. They'll usually have a recycling bin near the front. Those electronics will be recycled responsibly that way. The coltan will get taken out, put into a new device, and it'll help stop the destructive mining of it here in these habitats. Now, on average, an elephant does eat about 300 pounds of food a day. They're also going to drink about 43 gallons of water a day. If you look way down there at the end, you'll see the rest of these elephants kind of hanging out way in the back there by that wall. We'll head over that way and see if we can find them again. I'm not sure if we'll get another good view of them like we did when we first came in. Now, if we do see a herd together of elephants or a group, they're actually going to be females. Elephants are a matriarchal society, which means they are run by the females. There are those Ankoli cattle again on the right, up in the hills. There's that elephant ahead of us. You see him walking up here on the left. Right over there. There's also a flamboyance here ahead of us. That is a group of flamingos. These are the greater flamingos. They're actually the lightest shade pink of any flamingo in the world. They get their color from their diet, which consists primarily of brine shrimp. The brine shrimp contains a vitamin called beta-carotene that when they consume enough of it will turn them that pink color. Take a close look at Flamingo Island. You're also going to realize that it's actually a hidden Mickey here on the reserve. Is all of Flamingo Island. Now we're traveling into the east side of the reserve. This is where all the excitement is today here on the reserve. As about 3 months ago, or 4 months ago actually, around Halloween time, there was actually a baby white rhino born here on the reserve. And yesterday actually happened to be that baby rhino's first day out here on the reserve. So things are going a little bit slower out here, as we need to make sure we're very careful keeping our eyes out. He does like to run around quite a bit, kind of run right into the road, right out of the road. And when he comes running, that means mom's going to be running right behind him. She's going to weigh closer to 5,000 pounds. So there's one rhino right up there, pretty close to the road. I can't tell if there's any more over there right now. Usually where we find one, we're going to find many. White rhinos are a social species. They live together in what's called a crash. I do see a second one, a third one, so we might have some luck over here finding that young rhino. They do like to come. He's been rolling around in the mud quite a bit today, as all kids like to play in the mud. The rhinos are going to use that mud specifically as a way to help prevent themselves from getting sunburned. You can see the trucks are kind of stopping as we're going through here, which is a very good indicator that those rhinos are getting closer to the road. We want to make sure they have as much space as they need. Like I said, they weigh about 5,000 pounds. They can run at a top speed of about 35 miles an hour and are strong enough that they can actually tip over the entire truck if they want to. You'll see it looks like this rhino was just in the mud not too long ago. Could be possibly going back to try to reapply some more mud. I don't see any signs of that young rhino out here yet. Trying to keep my eyes out all around, even into the hills. There's a water rock over there on the right. That smaller antelope there. There's a couple of them up there actually. There's also a cheetah here asleep on the left. Right by this tree, right above this bush. There's one way up in the back left there too, it looks like. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals on the planet. 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds flat. They're the largest cats in the world that can still purr, as well as the only cats in the world that have solid black spots on their bodies. We're gonna find a lion up here on the left. Now, lions are mostly active at night under the cover of darkness, not a lot during the day. That's because their night vision is about 6 times greater than their day vision. A lion's roar can be heard typically about 5 miles across the grasslands. Look right here on this front rock, there's a female lion asleep there. She looks pretty relaxed right now. Now the females are the hunters for the pride. They go off and find the food, while the males will stay behind to protect the elderly and the other cubs. And a really nice view of his face back there too. Unfortunately though, lions are actually quickly becoming endangered. Only about 25,000 lions left in the world at this point. They're being poached for their fur and their manes. But hopefully with the help of conservation groups like Protect the Pride, the goal is by 2050 to try to double the amount of lions left in the world. On the left here, these are the warthogs. The largest burrowing animals in the world. We also see here on the left the ostrich, largest land birds on the planet. They'll be about 300 pounds each. Looks like there's some ostrich eggs here on the right. That's right, those ostriches are hanging out pretty close. About 3 pounds each. These are the scimitar horned orcs here on the right. These white animals with the big horns on their head. These animals are found mostly in northern Africa in the deserts, with a body temperature that'll reach up to about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we're going to move up to what's called the Magadi Glen. It's the newest area here on the reserve. The wardens have a post in here where they do a lot of work, help get things ready for the day on the reserve, and help to take care of the surrounding area as well. I don't think we're going to see many wardens in here, though we saw quite a few out on the reserve today. But it looks like, let's see what we can find. Oh, the Nigerian dwarf goats here on the left. One's under the table, a couple up on the rocks. They're actually very playful. They like to climb on a lot of things, as you can see. They produce a milk which is very high in vitamins. Now, since 1995, when the Disney Conservation Fund was started, Disney, with the help of all of our friends here at Animal Kingdom, has actually been able to donate around $86 million to to over 200 different conservation groups all around the world that help not only with the conservation of animals, but also their homes and their habitats as well. Now, if you'd like to help today and become a conservation hero, you can do that right here in the park by visiting any merchandise or food and beverage location. And it's as easy as just asking them to round your next purchase up to the nearest dollar. Any amount left over will be donated directly to the Conservation Fund. And while you're in the park today, Disney's going to match dollar for dollar, penny for penny, any and all donations made to the Conservation Fund. Now, if I have any Wilderness Explorers with me today, you're traveling on the Simba 1, SIMBA1, page 15 of your Wilderness Explorer Handbook is your safari badge. Now, on the reserve, I'll leave you with one last Swahili phrase, and that is kwaherini, which means goodbye or go well. So again, friends, my name is Nathan. It's been my pleasure driving around here today on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Kwaherini, go well, go wild, have a wonderful wild rest of your day, whether it's here at Disney's Animal Kingdom or wherever your adventures might take you. We want you to always remember the wilderness must be explored. Caw, caw, roar. Excellent. On the right here, watch your hands, arms, feet, and legs. Those doors are going to slide open. Watch your step as you exit. Have a great day. Check your road. Make sure you don't leave anything behind here with us.
Yeah.